Imagine riding down a sunny, suburban bike path, only to find yourself frantically kicking away a 12-pound, razor-toothed reptile with Ken blue feathers. You hit it with your air pump, trying to break its death grip on your calf, but it holds on, bouncing against the pavement with every pedal stroke. Eventually, exhaustion sets in. A tiny foot slips into the spokes, bringing the bite to a violent halt. You crash to the concrete. Within seconds, a pack of these brightly colored creatures swarms, tearing into you. And sitting safely in a state-issued truck nearby, a wildlife control officer watches the entire slaughter and does absolutely nothing to help. He can't intervene. In fact, if the cyclist had successfully killed the creature while defending himself, the officer would have arrested him. Under state law, harming these invasive predators is a strict felony. The officer's only job is providing medical care to the injured dinosaur. This brutal scenario is the central premise of Dale Patrick Smrekker's dark political satire, Turkeysaurus 2. It paints a picture of a society that has completely inverted its duty of care. It raises a deeply uncomfortable question. Why would a state government deliberately engineer a legal framework that prioritizes the survival of a lethal apex predator over the lives of its own citizens? The biological origin story begins in the Arctic ice pack. Chinese scientists discovered an intact ancient Compsognathus fossil. They extracted the DNA, successfully cloned the species, and despite claims to the contrary, the tiny dinosaurs began breeding at an astonishing rate. Opportunistic pet distributors bought mated pairs and imported them to Florida. Because of their colorful, feathery skin, selectively bred into shades of Barbie pink and Ken blue, they were heavily marketed to teenagers as luxury, high-status reptilian pets. The problem surfaced a few months later. When the creatures reach 1 year of age, their dietary needs shift drastically toward human flesh. After a few terrifying close calls at home, panicked parents began dumping their ravenous pets into the wild, where the warm climate allowed them to thrive. The breaking point occurred at Disney World. Feral packs rely on ambush tactics and target those unable to defend themselves. Because character actors wear heavy, cumbersome fiberglass costumes with limited visibility, they became the perfect prey. A pack of 3 adult dinosaurs swarmed the character in front of hundreds of tourists with video cameras. The highly publicized gruesome attack created an absolute public relations nightmare for Disney. The widespread panic forced the state legislature into an emergency session to address the invasive threat once and for all. But rather than eradicating the threat, politicians used the crisis to punish their corporate enemies. In a spiteful move to damage Disney, the government officially declared the lethal Compsognathus a protected state species, making it illegal to hunt, possess, or injure them. The pharmaceutical industry quickly rode to the rescue. They developed a fast-tracked, 100% effective vaccine that altered the taste of human flesh, rendering it completely bitter and unappetizing to the dinosaurs. In response, the state surgeon general falsely claimed the vaccine altered human DNA. The legislature then passed the Freedom from Tyranny law, outright banning the life-saving vaccine across the state. This graph illustrates the immediate financial impact of the ban. As the protected predator multiplied without resistance, the roving packs devoured people sleeping on the streets. State budgetary expenses for homelessness plummeted, delivering unexpected tax savings. With street populations gone, the packs shifted to slow-moving seniors. The chart shows the resulting massive drop in state Medicare and nursing home outlays as unreimbursed hospital expenses vanished. State leaders didn't view this mass slaughter as a public safety failure. By eliminating the state's most vulnerable populations, the dinosaurs had inadvertently balanced the budget, becoming the most cost-effective economic tool in legislative history. Enforcing this twisted reality requires a very specific type of police force. A standard highway patrol officer risks their life daily for a salary of roughly $60,000, dealing with the baseline hazards of traffic and crime. Dino control officers operate in a different reality entirely. The state buys their loyalty with overwhelming financial incentives. They start at a $100,000 base salary, plus massive 6-figure bonuses earned by arresting victims who commit the felony of fighting back against the dinosaurs. While the general public is left exposed in grocery store parking lots and on beaches, these officers and the wealthy elite retreat behind state-funded dino-proof gates. They enjoy excellent schools, guaranteed safety, and multi-million-dollar life insurance policies. Which brings us back to the bike path. The officer secures the dinosaur, administers a powerful tranquilizer, and places it in a pen. He ignores the dead cyclist entirely, annoyed because the man's death cost him a felony bonus. Smecker's satirical story functions as a magnified funhouse mirror reflection of real-world political calculations. It forces us to look at the systems we live under and ask a disturbing question. What level of systemic cruelty will a society normalize, so long as the right people are turning a profit?